Peace, love, life, and balance. Welcome to Universoul Life Balance, Universoul. I'm your host, Chief Jamal. Now check this out. I appreciate the love and support with the YouTube channel. I appreciate the emails and the inboxes. I appreciate them. I'd like y'all to comment more because it actually helps the algorithm, but I appreciate them. And I wanted to start answering some of these questions. There's a lot of them. I can't get to everyone. No, I will get to everyone and answer in one way. But as far as doing a video on certain things, I'm only going to do videos on, I can only do so many videos. So I'll do as much as I can, but I will answer a young man's, actually this was a question from a young man and a young lady. I keep everybody anonymous if you ever wanted to ask me anything. Unlike a lot of these guys on YouTube, I do have actual qualifications and certifications in certain areas. But what I will answer, I will tackle this one question that I got. And the question was on I'm sorry. I don't want to get your question wrong. I told you I was going to answer the question with a video. The question was, what is too much on a first date or first encounter? What is too much on a first date or first encounter? So I'm gonna answer quickly, and if any of those who got any more questions or comments, please put them down below. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. What is too much on the first date? Now I'm going to tackle one thing specifically because I believe this is understated. It is stated. I do hear people talk about it, but not as much. They talk about kind of the physical things and kind of the standard things. But what I will say this, and this happens on both ends. It's often attributed to women, but men do this as well. Matter of fact, I would even say that men are more guilty of this because they often volunteer this. Is looking too much questions about the future. Too much questions about the future. That is a main thing that I see as an issue that people do when they come to me and I ask certain questions, and I usually see that, and I've made those mistakes myself, and I've disqualified women who made those mistakes against me. But too many questions about the future, basically TMI, too much information. Your first encounter with a person, a first date with a person, you should be trying to get to know them somewhat, but you shouldn't be. You're not trying to find a wife or a husband. Now, when you're doing that, the other person can sense that, and they're gonna sense desperation. I know when a woman comes at me and asks me all these questions and asks family questions, either whether I answer them or not, it's gonna come off as desperate and just doing too much for a first date. Now, to be honest with y'all, if you're a woman, you kind of need certain things you're going to need to know for safety reasons, especially, and a man in some cases as well, but more so with a woman because in most cases the man's going to be more physical and imposing, so they're going to want to know certain things and red flags. What I say for you ladies is that y'all, it's a lot of technology out there. You can do a lot of prep work as far as Googling, searching, get you his name and date of birth if you can, and just get all that out the way for you. Don't go on the first date. Same with fellas, if you want to do that, do your background. If you one of those that gotta do that, me personally, I ain't finna do all that all the time. I'll do that because the first encounter, I'm not counting on it going past that first encounter until I have that first encounter. So too much information, I say, is the biggest mistake people make, and it happens both ways. A lot of times when you go into a date, you want to impress somebody. You're trying to show your worth, and that is a major mistake. You want to be in your pocket, be who you are. You want to basically be comfortable in your own skin and also be able to relate what you want and what you're looking for, but not overdo it. What I would say is this, is that when you go on a first date or a first encounter with somebody, that the goal is your only goal, if you're very attracted to this person, if you do like the person, if you do want it to go further, your only goal should be to get to the next day. It shouldn't be to sleep with them. If that happens, it happens. It shouldn't be that you're trying to know their whole life story. You're not trying to know their family. You're just trying to see, is this a quality enough person that I feel I can be around? Where are they bringing enough energy to where I want to willfully partake? If you have to be persuaded or think about it, move on. Don't waste time. Attraction, but despite what we said about building time and all of that, and time is good once you're in the context of the relationship as far as building, but as far as the raw animal attraction, the raw attraction, that is something we know instant. That's been proven in studies over and over again. We know right away if we're sexually attracted to somebody, if we know right away as far as that. So if you have any doubts or you have any pause or hesitation, you should always, me personally, I'll always default to just it's not going to work. Now, if that person's pursuing you and they're trying to make it happen, you got to figure out how to let them down easy. But if you want to pursue that a second time and give it, sometimes I'm not saying there's not cases where the second time or third time's a charm. But I'm saying that from my experiences, most of the time, the first impression is a lie. If the first impression wasn't right, it's not going to get right. I'm just going to keep it 100. You have your instances where maybe and usually in those instances where I created it for myself, where the second impression was better or third impression, it was because it was a major factor in the first one that was prevented, something that was out of both of our controls or at least one of our controls. Outside of that, like I said, that first time is nothing but too much information is the main thing, the main mistake people make to me when dating. If you listen, this is the thing, right? And I'm gonna speak for this as a man who has kids and for women who got kids and men who got kids. Somebody don't gotta know. Like I said, get out of your, I know it's hard for y'all, but get out of your mind marriage, get out of your mind even being a couple. You only seen if this person is good enough that you want to be around them more. You shouldn't be talking about your kids, and you shouldn't even be. I wouldn't even talk about how many kids. It's not now. If they ask you, you can answer it. I never lie. I never ever don't lie. Lying is don't lie. We wrong. You don't gotta lie. But I wouldn't lead with that. I wouldn't volunteer the information. If they ask, I would tell them. I'm very proud of my kids, so I'm a little bit different. I kind of more from, but for some of you, I don't think you have the confidence or the ability to handle that, because a lot of y'all struggling with that, with being a single mother or a single father. So you definitely don't want to lead with your kids, because what that says is that you're basically taking attention away from that person. That person's there to get attention from you, and whether you're a man or a woman. So you're kind of changing this. Now both of y'all might have kids and relate on that. It may be a thing talking, but that's a lot. With kids, man, that's a lot of emotion and other people involved, and it's too much to involve on the first encounter. So I will always table the topic of kids, whether y'all have none and you're talking about having them. Don't get in that later, because that is something that may or may not change throughout the course of the relationship, and it's very heavy. So you come, like I've met women and they didn't want to have any kids, and then they end up begging for them and trying to get pregnant on purpose without me even doing any persuasion. So those are factors that can change. And it's a heavy thing with that. You could lose a good person off of something that you probably shouldn't be talking about. And for another thing for your kids is you want to keep your kids safe. You don't know who this person is. They shouldn't know that you got kids. If they know you got kids and they don't like you, want to do something to you, they can use that against you. So you shouldn't really be volunteering information about your kids at all on the first encounter if you have kids. Also, professional life, occupation. That is something that you can talk about, that you want to bring, you want to let that know, but you shouldn't dwell on your occupation. You shouldn't dwell on your occupation and give a lot of information about your occupation, just the basics of your job title, whatever. You shouldn't be going into how much money you make, and some of y'all are just ridiculous. If it takes all that just to get a second encounter, then that's probably not the person for you. You shouldn't be over talking about your profession, because once again, that's a distraction. The whole point of the encounter is to see. It ain't even because a lot of us say it's to get to know it. No, you getting to know somebody is involves intimacy. Even the Bible, when it says know, that means sex. Yeah, that's a topic we don't want to get on. So that's the ultimate way you're going to get to know that person is sex. I don't preach the sex positivity. That's the mainstream version, but I do preach about life balance, and sex is a big part of that. So the problem is the sexual thing is going to come naturally. Whether you're going to know that right away. So questions about that or around that, you really really shouldn't waste time, like I said, getting on that, because that's something that you already probably know, and either being dishonest about it, honest about it. If you're not honest with your sexuality and they're not, then it's already not a match. Both if you're in the dating market, both of y'all should be comfortable with whatever sexual level that you're on. If you're not, then you need to spend more time in the lab with yourself. But that's another thing. Your profession and your sexual questions. You shouldn't be getting too much into sexual questions, because that's, if you gotta force it, if you gotta talk somebody into it, it's already a bad start. And you shouldn't be talking about your profession too much, because it's taking attention away from that person, and also you're giving out too much information about yourself to where they can, especially if you're a man with a woman. As a man, the more information you give, the more questions you present in this woman's head, the more inquisitive she's going to be, the more doubt you may put in there. Heck, in some cases, the more assuredness you may put in there, but it won't be for a good reason. If they cling on to any information that quickly and use that to make a judgment, it's not going to, even if they think it's good, like they hear you got this job, we making good money, you're distracting their mind you're distracting their mind from properly mating, because now they're thinking about their brain is switching strategies. Now they're seeing you as a provider. You don't want them to see you as a provider on that first encounter. You don't want them to see you as anything. All you're trying to do, I'm gonna keep saying this, is see if this is a person that you want that is worthy of being in your atmosphere for a second time. Okay? And then from there, all the other things are going to start to grow. Is this person I want to be with? That's too much information, man. Too much to think about. Now, all these things I'm saying, you can go against them, and it feels good. It turns out good. But what'll happen is you finish how you start, and you start how you finish. The path you set that person on is going to come back to get you, whether you want to or not. I'll give you an example. My ex-wife, right? When we first met, I was a little too open and gave too much information to her, and and what happened was it's a chain effect in the speeding the relationship up quickly and going on, and we didn't get fundamental things down outside of the sexual attraction, which was there, that we would have needed to make the relationship be a profitable relationship. So you can set things in motion too fast or too slow by giving them too much information. Some more information you really shouldn't be divulging too much on the first encounter. Like I said, we talked about children, we talked about your profession, we talked about certain sexuality. All right, and you can kind of include income, money, man. No, we gotta leave money as a thing. You shouldn't really be. Money shouldn't be in the discussion. Okay, money should not be in a discussion, man. Money and all of these things. You shouldn't. Basically, what I'm saying, yo, you shouldn't be talking about things as a couple. You shouldn't be talking as a couple. It should either be raw animal attraction, or you just trying to feel this person out and see what type of they're going to tell. The more questions you thinking that these questions you're asking are going to let you get to know the person better. No, what you're doing is you're giving that person, if that person is a deceitful person or trying to run game, you're basically giving them where to go in the game and how to run it when you're giving out all that information. I'm not saying don't give out no information, but you want to give out enough to where you're keeping the conversation going. You can talk about, things you got in common, funny things, current events, some of your interests. Interest is a good thing. You want to get into common interests, because that's how you're going to build towards the second encounter. Remember, everything is about getting to that second encounter. So but when you over divulge into these other things that I talk about, you basically retard the whole process of mating or not mating. Look, I'm in sales, right? I run a marketing and sales company, and I teach my people that work for me all the time that qualifying a customer is not just about qualifying; it's about disqualifying too. Because the people that are saying no to the product, you want to get them out the way as quick as possible. Same thing in the dating world. The people that are not qualified, you want to get out the way. Now, I know some of y'all are saying, well, don't us not asking. Well, look, not asking those questions. Asking those questions, you may think that you're qualifying that person, but you're just giving them a way to listen, man. This is when we go. Everything we talk about goes back to knowledge of self. If you know yourself well, and you have your mindset already set, you have a standard. you have a standard that you have that no one, that where you saying that I have this, and this is my standard, and you already got that set in stone. You're not really worried too much about, you don't have to ask all these questions, because they're going to naturally either fit their standard, or they're going to show you that they don't fit those standards. And you'll get to know a lot by just observing the person, seeing how they react. Let them talk, let them reveal on their own. When you asking, when you leading out, it's a defense mechanism. They're going to put up that wall because they don't know you. They're going to put up that wall right away, and they're going to try to maneuver and skirt through that wall. So you have to be mindful of that and be understanding of that. That I know you think that asking all these questions is helping you get to know them, or get you see what's up, or see, they respond like this, so I know that that's not going to really get you that natural people, how people are. You want to see people in their natural habitat, how they naturally move. So what you do is, instead of asking certain questions, you might want to get them in a certain surrounding. Like if you let's say if you want kids, right? That's a real big sticking point for you. Instead of leading out with that, go somewhere, mention you want to go somewhere where kids are. See how they act around kids. Like you want to go to Dave and Buster's or to an amusement park or something. There's ways you can do certain things. All right. Like if you're a man and you want a woman who's going to be more domestic, more submissive, and not a party goer. Suggest going to a club, out to a nightclub. See how she acting on her. See if she even want to go. That's gonna tell you a lot. But if you sit up there asking questions, she could just. If you sit up there and ask her like, well, you the type that if she want to hook you in, or especially see you as a target, she'll just pretend to play the game. So when you ask all these questions, you basically giving them a chance. You're giving them a chance to pretend to play the game. So the thing is that you don't want to give them that chance to pretend to play the game. You want them to be in their natural habitat, in their natural instinctual ways. And you do that. Listen, man. The scripture says even a fool seems wise to keep his mouth shut. Sometimes you're gonna do the best way to know something just by being quiet and observing. And I've learned that the hard way. Like I've learned that with women, like you just gotta observe, let them be. A lot of y'all get into political. Don't get it. That's I'm giving my last couple points, and these really the major ones. Don't get into political talk ever, never, ever, because it's only even if y'all both on the same side, it's gonna create another distraction. But it's just gonna create stay away from politics. And this is something that I do hear a lot of dating coaches and stuff say. But stay away from it, and this is true because it's true. Stay away from politics and religion. Stay out of politics and religion. Unless y'all met at like a church, or y'all met on that type of tip, or maybe y'all working a campaign together or something like that. Outside of that, meeting in those environments where you kind of can't avoid, and even then I would veer off from that. Stay away from that, because those are divisive things. This is the Balance Channel. We tell you see in the intro, we against extremes, and those are two extremes. You cannot help but be extreme if you're religious or political. You're automatically pretty much an extremist. So you want to stay out of those type of conversations, because it's you can miss out on a great, because if y'all kicking it, y'all bonding, y'all get to know it, after a while, you're not gonna really care. That stuff like that, you're either gonna work it out or gonna bond out. You don't want to disrupt what could be a good connection with talking politics and religion. That can make things go left very quickly. All right. So with that being said, it's a lot more I can talk about. I might do a part 2 on this because it's kind of a later question. But for now, I think hopefully that answers your question. Hopefully those who are watching the video, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, stay up to date. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment. Let me know you in the building. Like the video, share the video. We building out here, family. Peace, love, life, and balance.